Did we beat Minnesota?
Yeah,
we always beat Minnesota.
You know, it's good when you forget how many times you beat them in a row. I think when you just look at, I'm not going to say my comments because I don't want anybody to think.
I'm from Minnesota and I'm happy here. Jared, Luke, and Chris both shared some unforgettable moments. Do you have one from the field, an unforgettable moment?
On the field, probably was the Nebraska game. Just that whole week, I guess you could say, because the electricity, you could just feel it on the field. Like, it was amazing just how crazy all you guys were, the fans in the stadium. Especially when I scored a touchdown. I fumbled early in that game on a punt return. I was real down on myself. And then to get that touchdown, we were back in the league and we just started working on so especially the first time they played in the Big Ten, that was probably one of the greatest moments for me on the field.
We killed them. We killed Nebraska. I didn't know. I hope I did. Chris, you kind of moved on from the Badger arena, though, and we'd love to know what are the best and maybe the most difficult things about being a professional football player.
I can tell you a lot of hard things about it because it's probably harder than it is better. But I'll try to start with the better. I think being able to play at the highest level of football, I think that's something that I've always strived for. And to finally be there and be ready to understand, how difficult it was, and to finally, be able to achieve that platform is definitely really sweet. And just to be able to play against some of the top athletes, really in our country or in the world in that sport, is pretty neat. And I really feel honored to be able to do that every day. So those are some of the better ones. And then of course, when you're in an NFL locker room, you get 53 guys that are seriously from all walks of life. I mean, we got guys from Inner Compton, I'm from Wisconsin, you know what I mean? We got guys from all over the place that have all these different backgrounds, right? So there's so many different personalities, and to mix those guys on one team is absolutely hilarious. I'll tell you guys a story. All right, so how many guys? You guys all know who Marshawn Lynch is? Yeah. Beast mode. All right. You guys know the whole thing about the Skittles and all that? All right. So I didn't really pick up on that because I was doing my thing on the sideline. I'm trying to get ready for, when I'm getting in there, I'm trying to focus on what we're doing, in tune to the game, you know what I mean? I'm in it, right? So we're playing the Baltimore Ravens, right? And they just beat the Steelers, and they're everybody at ESPN was talking about, the Baltimore Ravens, they got a great defense, they got Flacco, they got Ray Rice, they got all these guys, right? They're talking about, they're the front runners for the Super Bowl. So they come to our place, so we're playing, right? And so we get out there, and we're beating them, and then they take the lead in the game at halftime, and then we come back in the third, we're beating them, right? So we go into the fourth, and there's 3 minutes left in the game. We were up, I want to say, 11 points. They scored a touchdown, so we're up 4, okay? So now we have the ball, and I'm getting ready, in case we need to go back in there. So I'm getting ready, I'm getting our defense, we're doing all these different adjustments, they're throwing these new plays, and they're 2-minute mode against us. So Marshawn Lynch, they're out there, and they're moving the ball, right? And it's we're getting third down first, it's third and long, and then first down, and then it was fourth down, and then we converted the first down. We're trying to run the clock out. So it's so they, at this point they had no timeouts. It was 2 minutes left, and it was 2nd and 5. So Marshawn Lynch runs the ball, he gets 2 yards. So it's 3rd and 3. So the clock's running down. We have to get this first down to ice the game, run out the clock, all that kind of stuff. So I'm over in the side, you know what I mean? I'm all right, if we don't get this, we're probably gonna go for it on 4th down. I'm going in on defense, I'm starting at this point on defense, and I'm all right, okay, they're doing this as the next thing. So all of a sudden, Marshawn Lynch, he gets up for running the ball, it's 2 yards, now it's 3rd and 3. So we have to get this play. And he comes he's got this trot like this. So he's like, hey. Like this, he's got this gold grill, it's hilarious. So he's like, hey. And if you know him, he's the funniest guy in the world. He's real lighthearted, it's hilarious. So he runs, and this is the first time I saw the whole skills thing. I didn't know what was going on. It was intense moment of like my whole career. Like we was like the most important thing. And he comes over and he's like, hey, give me my Skittles, give me my Skittles. So all of our equipment staff, you know, they got like those pouches with like tape in them and stuff, and like, you know, stuff you need for football, right? Like normal things. So everybody's like checking their pockets, like freaking out. And it's like the most pivotal point of our season, right? And so like finally one of the trainers that comes from the back, he's got a fun-sized packet of Skittles. And he tears it, and Marshawn Lynch just did one of these, and he's chewing it back in the huddle. Well, the next play, they dump off a little pass to him, and Ray Lewis, which is like the best linebacker ever to play in the NFL, and one of their best defensive ends. I mean, he caught the ball, and those guys were going to stop him for a loss, and he did this little juke move, and they both, like, their knees collapsed, and they, like, fell. And we got the first down, and we iced the game, and I was thinking, like, because I was walking in the locker room, like, I had a helmet, and I was like, man, I got to start eating more Skittles. So that was one of my, like, favorite, but, like, that was, like, the better parts of the NFL. That's it. All right, now I got to give you guys the bad part. I'll keep this short because there's a lot of bad stuff. All right. So here's the thing about the NFL. On every college team, there's 120 college teams. There's 120 guys on each team. So there's a large pool of great athletes that come from all over. In the NFL, there's 32 teams and there's 50 guys on each team. So the margin of error is extremely small. And in college, you kind of get time to like redshirt and get acclimated to the speed and the size and all that, the schemes, all those kind of things. In the NFL, you don't. So every week, guys, I mean, I had next to my locker this year, there were 6 different guys that were in my locker. It was like I'd show up on Tuesday, like for our workouts, and there'd be like a new name and a new number next to my locker. And like, so it's like there's all these guys going, and you're building these relationships with these guys, and then all of a sudden they're just gone one day. You're like, what just happened? And it's happened to me. I'm going into my 3rd year now in the NFL. I've been cut 3 times already from teams. So it's like, you never know when it's going to be your time. If a guy gets injured at receiver, and they need to bring in another receiver to add depth, then they take the last defensive back, and they add a receiver to the roster to help compensate. So you never know when it's going to be your turn. It's really business-like, and you really lose the fun and the emotion like you have in college. You go to game day, you have fun with everybody, and the crowd's great, and in the NFL it's just really business-like, and it's really cold. Granted, you're playing at the highest level, but you never know when it's going to be your turn when they're calling you up to the office and handing you your slip to head home. So those are definitely the not better parts, of it all. So
for sure, thank you for sharing about Skittles and about the harder things too. Absolutely. Luke, could you talk a little bit about how you're continuing your legacy with the Badgers?
Yeah, I couldn't stay away from the game. I went in the corporate world for a little while, had a great job there, and for some reason I just felt pulled back. I love the game of football. I think one of the things that really pulled me back to pursue the coaching avenue, I'm a graduate assistant coach on the offensive side of the ball, but one of the things that really drew me back were the players. I kind of thought back to my time as a player. College is such a pivotal time in your life. It's such a unique time in your life. I think you really set kind of the trajectory for who you're going to be. You really kind of set the foundation for who you are. You're no longer under your parents. You kind of stand out on your own feet, and you kind of set for who you're going to become. And so I really get excited. I really get passionate about having a group of young men who are within my position that I get to see on a day-to-day basis. For 4 or 5 years, and then have influence on the most important time of my life. I think that's something that really is incredibly awesome. There's nothing quite like being on a team, whether you're teammates. There's nothing quite like being in a locker room and developing relationships, and that can kind of be the same way with coach players. So that's kind of the excitement that brought me back. It's going to be an interesting journey. The college football coaching ranks, professional ranks, really similar to Chris's. It's a business. I mean, there's multi-million dollars, as you guys see, into the Wisconsin Badger football program and all over college football with $1 million contracts, $100,000 coaches are making. that there's a lot of pressure that kind of comes with it. So I'm still kind of working through all those things and what it looks like to have a balanced life, a life that definitely is generated and focused on Christ and our family, as well as kind of my job as well. So.
Well, we're happy to have you here.
Excited.
So, Jared, Luke is on the sidelines supporting you, but who's your biggest supporter?
I got a lot of great supporters. I think I started with my family. My mom and dad have been supporting me ever since I was, a little guy. So they're definitely the ones that I can go to and talk to about anything. And I know they got my back, whether I play bad in football. With that, obviously, God is, one of the biggest things in my life that I can rely on. I'm playing for Him. Like we were saying earlier, an audience of one, that's a big thing for me. It helps you play so free when you're out there. You don't have to worry about, what people are going to say if you mess up or what's going to happen if you do good. People are always going to hate you and love you. So, playing for God has really been like the biggest support for me. I got great mentors. Luke's one of them. We do Bible study together with a couple of other receivers and a couple of other players. So that's great. Brian Smith, another guy on campus at Mr. Athletes in Action. He's a mentor of mine. I got my fiance Rachel. She's a supporter of mine. I got so many that I've been blessed with that. So that's been a great thing for me, especially playing football and being a walk-on, earning a scholarship and going forward and stuff like that. The sport's a huge thing to have, and so I've been blessed with that.
Just one thing to add, I think, one thing that you guys don't necessarily see, and there's definitely perceptions out there just about football players in general. Jared kind of mentioned just Bible study and guys who are just interested in becoming men of God. And there's a good group of men on the team that are really seeking after that. We're having 16, 18 guys on a weekly basis Sunday night that we get together. There's lots of guys that are involved in Athletes in Action. The nights before games, Aaron Henry before this last season led a study where, because guys are in the hotel, they have nowhere else to go. There's 20, 25 guys in a hotel room, and they're digging into the Bible and just really seeing what God has for them. So just to give you guys a little bit of insight that there are athletes, within our team, all over the college spectrum that are excited about just the Lord and growing in their faith.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. It's good for us to hear. So Luke, you talked a little bit about this, but maybe you can explain it in a little bit more practical way. How do you prioritize faith, family, and football in your busy schedule? And Chris, maybe be thinking about how you do it too.
Yeah, that's a difficult question. My role right now is I'm kind of the first guy in and the last guy out on the bottom of the totem pole. So right now, we're definitely making sacrifices towards the future with that. But this offseason has been really good. Priorities is going to be something that you guys are learning, you guys will learn pretty much through your entire life. But there was one analogy that I thought that may be really common, but I think one to come back to all the time is in a jar. If you put in all your little pieces, your sand first, the big rocks won't fit. But if you take your big rocks, so your big rocks being the things that are important to you, your faith, your family, the things that are kind of the foundation for who you are, if you set those into your schedule first and make those priority, that's when they're going to be able to be real. But if you start getting overwhelmed and putting all the little things in, and then just leave the extra kind of tidbits for those big things become little itty bitty things that don't even fit at all. So I think, practically speaking, that is guarding your schedule very well and setting it up to a place that you're going to have things in your life, places in your life, people in your life that are set up, that are the important things in your life, that no matter what, those things are not going to shift around, and then the other things kind of fit around those. So it's a difficult balance, it's a difficult challenge, but it's no different in the sports world as the working world, or the college world, or whatever worlds you're in.